Well, it's not the sunniest day. Well, it's sunny, but it's once again sort of a red sun, sort of a hazy, reddish tinge to it because of the smoke in the air. That's my opinion anyway. Now, once again, last night I did come back to the model table, but I did not do any videoing. So if some of you will be happy about that. Now, I did work on this. Oh, by the way, once again, in the bottom of the page, I will, in the bottom of the screen, I will put across where to fast forward ahead to get through all this. It will not be anything like yesterday. It'll just be really fast. I'll show you the very subtle changes I made here. It's almost identical to the way it was before, although both these pieces are new. But we'll get into that. In the meantime, if you don't want to be watching this, just skip ahead to the time indicated in the bottom of the screen. And the reason I can't tell you right now what it is because I don't know how long I'm going to be flapping my gums here. So anyway, let's just get going with this. Okay, I know we do have a reflection from the light above, but I think it's probably going to be alright. And if we take our little wire here, let's move our glass very carefully here for a moment. Okay, and we're going to do a demonstration similar to what we did the day before yesterday. At least that's the plan. Now what I did here that was different, let me get Mr. T's pointing device, which I have just recently sharpened again this morning. If you remember, yesterday I was poking at metal with it and dulled it. Okay, so this piece and this piece are now replaced. They look the same as before, but they're not. And they are slightly longer. In other words, the slot in the middle here is slightly narrower, maybe a millimeter or so. Okay. So, whoops, I gotta be careful I don't bump the camera here. I've been pretty lucky so far. I've had some pretty precarious setups, and I haven't accidentally knocked anything over that I can remember. Anyway, okay, now when this gets pressed down, you can probably see that the wire is actually going to be pressed a little bit tight in there, but our main concern was, if you remember, that when we move it back and let me move in. I'm sorry. Okay, that's as close as I can reasonably get. Okay, so when we move our wire back and forth, it keeps it straight, and so everything is going to be the same as it was before. And now if you remember when we took the part down to the workshop and ground it down, that was for another reason. Now that was because we want to be able to get the staple to drive all the way down into the wood. Now we're going to do that. Now I promised you that we wouldn't be at this all day. Now I didn't use those exact words, but that's what I meant. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to just get this over with, and then we'll get back to the model ship, for those of you who haven't already fast forwarded ahead. Now these little staples, I don't like to be wasting them because they are expensive. I think I calculated out that they work out to about 10 cents a piece, maybe less. That is, if I did it right. Anyway, yeah, so let's only just do one here. I'm trying to do this so you can see it being done. All right, goes in like that. This goes forward and locks into place. And as I mentioned before, it's kind of hard to get that to lock in. It shouldn't be that hard. Okay, now I have not tried this out yet since I put in the new little blocks. So I'm hoping the staple will clear the blocks and won't chip them out. I don't think it will. I'm eyeballing it right now, and I can sort of see that it looks like it should just make it. Yeah, you can kind of see the piston that that comes down there. At least I could see it. All right, let's get this over with and get back to the model here. All right. Oh, and the whole idea right now is that the staple will go all the way down to the wood. That was the whole idea of removing the metal here yesterday. Okay, we're just gonna do one here. Okay, so it should be. Okay. I'll put the macro lens on and we can look, and we should be able to see that this went all the way down right to the wood. Now I think probably most of you have recognized the fact that I get a kick out of setting up and doing this sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know why, but I do. But anyway, you can see that the staple has gone all the way down to the wood, whereas before it was probably just a little over a 1/16 of an inch from going all the way in. All right, so that problem was solved. Now, let's get to the model. Okay, I did not lie to you. Here's what happened. While I was editing out those last few scenes that you saw, my phone rings. And it's my son. He says, I can come over for a couple hours and help you with your surveillance cameras, running the wire and so on. So he did. What am I going to do? Say no? I'm doing the model ship show? Anyway, he came over, and to make a long story short, he probably drove over 100 with this thing, and when he was all through, he says, I give it 2 thumbs up. So, all right, let's move on. Now, remember yesterday we got a couple of packages to the door. This one here is the crimper for this wire. We'll look at this maybe tomorrow, not today. However, this one here, this is model ship related, and I think you know what it is. It's more of these. Remember I ordered them from Amazon? Well, they came. Let's just take a quick look. I'll just reposition everything here. Okay, I know that white label here is... Don't tell me I have to... Can't get this open now. Oh, for heaven's sake. Okay. All right. That's it. Now, what I was thinking of doing with these, and all right, they look very, very similar to the ones that Tony sent. Very similar. Now, what I was thinking of doing is not. At first, I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just take all of these and bend them the way I think they should be. But being as that these are so quick and easy to adjust, I think I'm just going to leave this hook just the way it is, and then I will custom make it for whatever it is I want to, use it on. Now, we don't need to go into a lot of details. We already know, how these things work. I guess I didn't need to dump them out, but don't they look pretty? Anyway, yeah, now let's move on to some painting here. Now, my experience with this Tamiya XF paint, hey, I remembered not to turn it right side up this time, or upside down. All right, is that if you get one coat on, the first coat will act kind of like a primer. Now, you'll notice that it's kind of, not very good there. Now, as one of the viewers, I think it was Peter, was mentioning that you got to remember these things are going to be kind of sooty and messed up anyway. But if you want a really, really nice job, when you do put the second coat on, usually it covers really well and you don't need a third. So I'm just going to try and do that. I'm going to see if I can do it on camera here. I don't know if I can or not. I have a tendency to sort of forget about the camera, and I'm still talking to you, but you're not seeing what I'm doing. Now, I'm not the only person that makes YouTube videos that has that problem. Fortunately, I feel good about that. Now, underneath here, it's not real important because it's not too likely anybody's going to be seeing up at this angle, but as long as I'm doing it, I may as well try and do it right? Right. Okay, I think I'm pretty much back to the beginning. No use overdoing it because what's going to happen is it's going to start dissolving the paint that I've already done. Now I think the best bet will be to do the inside and do the top last. Now that's my unprofessional opinion, but I don't need to be putting it on real thick. As you can see, it seems to be covering quite well. And this will dry out a little bit and shrink here. Maybe my angle isn't quite right for the camera. Doing the best I can, sort of. I suppose if I had to put this on the rotator, I got a little bit heavy there that time, didn't I? Yeah, I think once this dries, it's going to be pretty good. I don't think I need to sample anymore on my brush. Just, yeah, as Peter was saying, it doesn't have to look that great anyway. Okay, now let's go all around the top. Now, once again, I will readily admit the airbrush would have done a nicer job. So why not use it? Well, I like brushing by hand too. It's kind of relaxing. There's something relaxing about this. I remember when I was doing the Titanic and the Lusitania, I used to really get into it. It was almost, you might say, hypnotizing. And we're almost around here. Oh, that was too thick. I think it'll be alright. Okay. Let's just put our brush down somewhere here and take a little look, make sure we didn't miss any. And let's seeing it. Now I know you can see a white spot down there, but that's going to be the lip that goes on the inside of the funnel. Yeah. And you can see it's already drying on the inside there. It looks blotchy, but I think once it's dry, it's going to look very uniform. Yeah. All right. As long as the camera's running. Now, I don't know if we need to give these a second coat or not. These were a lot harder to paint. And all we had to do was just basically the edges. I don't think we needed to really do the underneath. I don't think anything that I'm painting right now, I don't think any of that is actually going to show. But I'm doing it anyway. It's coming loose. I don't want it to fall off. Maybe the little edge that's stuck onto the double-sided tape is not enough. You know what? I'm going to have to do these off camera. Whoops! I bumped it with my finger and I bent one. Well, at least I bent it in the right direction. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this off camera, folks. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we got that pretty good. Now, while I was just cleaning up here, I was thinking, why don't we use the Stanley Gray on the pulleys? It's light enough, that it'll contrast with the black. or with the, well, I don't know. It's got to go against that. Well, no, there is quite a difference. I think it'll show up. I think it's a light enough gray that it's going to show up. Anyway, let's give it a whirl. I don't see any reason why I can't brush Stanlres. We'll stick the macro lens on after. But first I'm going to edit out the last few scenes, give this about an hour to dry, and I think we'll have time to have a nice quick look. I don't know if we'll have time this afternoon, though, to paint these pulleys. What do we got here? 10 after 2. We'll see how it goes. Now, I don't know, in fact, I'm pretty sure, we never actually checked to see how much of this photo etch part we actually see from underneath when the cap is mounted in place. Now I think if I do this very carefully, I'm not going to damage the paint. It's almost an hour now, I guess, since we painted this. Now I think we can get this off of here. Oh my, that double-sided tape is holding on a lot harder than I thought. Don't want it to go pinging across the room, if you know what I mean, so. I don't want to be touching it with my fingers, but on the other hand, it's almost got it here. Okay, now, I'll just reposition here and you can see how it's supposed to go in. Okay, now let's try and keep this in the center of the camera here. I do have the right one, don't I? There we go. Yeah, okay, it's in place now. Okay, now how much of the underside of that photo etch ring do we actually see? Well, it appears to me that only the edge, the leading edge of it, and of course the little parts that we have to bend down. Now, this is the one here that I accidentally bent about an hour or so ago. But I do believe we can straighten that out, and we're not going to break it off. And as you know, there's only so many times you can bend a piece of photo etch, and it's gonna break off from metal fatigue. Noticing there's a little bit of something down there. Well, we can fix that up later, right? Okay, so now we know. You may as well say none of the bottom shows. So that's good. Yeah, it's too bad I bent that, but like I say, I'm pretty sure we can straighten it. Now, needless to say, I'm not going to be painting these pulleys while the ring is in place on the funnel. Too much danger of accidentally touching it. What is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 10. There's at least 20 of these things to do. Murphy's Law says that there's 21 chances that I'll probably touch the funnel. So, yeah, I'll be doing this ring off of this. I just wanted to see how it was going to look here. Now we're going to have to do the painting in the next episode. I don't know if I'll be doing any this evening. If I do, I'll video it. This should actually go quite good. I think that in all likelihood I'm going to do the entire part, like the little part that comes down, as well as the round disc part. Now, we are not going to be looking this close. You are probably 2/3 of the way in with the macro lens. So, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. And yeah, today's episode was a little bit different, but at least I got 2 more security cameras going. I got the 2 on the front street. I now have a panoramic view, 180 degrees of the front street. So that's kind of nice. So far, in case people are wondering, and people have been asking, you know, or wanted to know at least what I think of this system, because they were thinking of getting one. So far, I'm pleased. I'll know in probably 2 or 3 weeks when I finally get everything up and running the way I want it. I want to be doing it a little bit complicatedly, you might say, so it's going to take a while. And I'm not in a big rush. So in the meantime, folks, thank you for watching. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.